Further, though elements of Tamil diaspora living in foreign lands and vested lobbyists of Tamils in Western world always highlight the discrimination of Tamils. None of the groups mention that Tamils live peacefully with other communities in other provinces of the country. The terrorism trail, initiated and ultimately lost by the liberation tigers of Tamil Elam, has left many citizens of the country with deep scars, both physical and mental, which has created the social and economic retardation of the nation. At this juncture, let us quickly remind ourselves of events that led to the conduct of humanitarian operations. Even after the signing of the ceasefire agreement in February 2002, the LTT continued with its ulterior military and political agenda for establishing a separate state. Civilians who did not support the LTT and differed in thought became victims of their brutalism, heavy taxes and penalties. Every family was forced to hand over one child to the organization. Further, recruiting of underage children was rampant despite national pressure, and schools were used to promote recruitment. The LTT went on a killing spree by eliminating Tamil, Muslim and Sinhala political opponents and intelligence operatives of the security forces. Further, the LTT deployed its suicidal cadres to assassinate VIPs and high-ranking military officers. Concerted attempts to purchase aircrafts and improvement of related infrastructure facilities, developing the Sea Tiger fighting capability to an alarming level, acquisition of large quantities of artillery and other high-tech heavy weapons, a massive recruitment drive backed by propaganda campaigns and worldwide fundraising activities were not only mere violations of the ceasefire agreement, but also confirmed that the fact that the LTT was preparing for military operations. In spite of many rulings by the Sri Lankan monitoring mission on violations of ceasefire agreement, the LTT continued to threaten military establishments in the east. Most importantly, the security of the Trincomalee harbour with the construction of new defences in Sampur. After the presidential elections in November 2005, the LTT openly displayed hostility towards new political and military leadership by attacking very sensitive military targets and VVIPs. It was evident that the LTT had perceived the peace tolerance attitude of a majority of Sri Lankans as a weakness. On 21st July 2006, the LTT closed the sluice gates of Mavil Aru in the eastern province and severed the water supply to approximately 20,000 villages and 14,000 acres of paddy land, causing grave damage to cultivations during the pre-harvest period. When several attempts to resolve the issue with the LTT through ICRC failed, and having no other options left, to launch a military to regain the control of Mavil Aru sluice on humanitarian grounds. After series of successive humanitarian operations led by the army, terrorism was eradicated from the eastern province by August 2007. The humanitarian operations launched by the army in Vanni after liberating the east spread subsequently to other areas of the Vanni and the north, where innocent civilians were held captive by the LTTE. The terrorists were gradually challenged and defeated by the army with the assistance of other forces, while capturing their strongholds in succession. The final phase of humanitarian campaign and conduct of the world's largest rescue operation at Pudumadhalan and the killing of the LTT leader Velupulle Prabhakaran along with the upper rank leadership. This brought to an to almost 30 years of terror and devastation, which had strangled the freedom of the nation. With his death, the conflict that the Sri Lankan security forces waged for over 30 years was finally concluded in a relentless campaign conducted over a period of 3 years. And with it, the history of the world's most ruthless and dangerous terrorist organization, the Tigers of Tamil Eelam. M is to share the experience of humanitarian operations conducted in both eastern and northern theaters of operation. Sequence of the unfolding is as shown on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce Major General Chagi Galage, RWP, RSP, USP, who will cover the operations in the East. Major General Chagi Galage joined the Sri Lanka Army in 1984 and was commissioned to the Gajaba Regiment in 1985. In an illustrious military career of 27 years, he has held many key command, staff and instructor appointments. Presently, he holds the appointment of Commander, the President's Guard, and is the Colonel of the regiment, the Commandos. In operations conducted against the LTT, he immensely contributed to almost all operations at various levels of command and was in defeating the LTT as the overall operational command of security forces in Eastern humanitarian operations. Major Galage has followed many local and overseas training courses during his military career and holds a diploma in senior level defense management from University of Indore, India. During his outstanding career, he has been decorated with gallantry medals of Rana Vikrama and Rana Sura for his bravery in the battle. Ladies and gentlemen, Major General Galage.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset put you across the immediate background to the humanitarian launch of the humanitarian military thrust and also familiarize with you with the battlefront. The so-called Tigers of Tamil Eelam to resume hostilities with the government of Sri Lanka by commencing military operations in East by no means surprising. Previous post-conflicts such as Eelam 2 and 3 too began in the eastern province. The volatile nature of the eastern province, stimulated by multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multilingual and multicultural disparity, lends itself in nature to conflict. The LTT exploit ceasefire period developed itself into an insurgent army possessing field and medium artillery, an effective ground arm, and a land fighting force including deadly suicide cadres with subconventional military capabilities. Forces involved in the humanitarian mission is as shown on the slide. The eastern province of the island is made up of 9,965 square kilometers in extent and covers around 16% of the total land area of Sri Lanka. The maximum length is 286 kilometers from south to the northeast, and the width is 89 kilometers from west to the east. The province is enriched with 420 kilometer coast, and it is the only province with 3 airports at Trincomalee, Batiklo, and Nampara, and a harbour of strategic value. Harbour Batiklo, Harbour Trincomalee, Trincomalee Batiklo, Chinkaladi Mahaoya, Mahaoya Ampara were the main roads which dominated the area of operation. Avenues were available for cross-country move, which created ideal conditions for small group operations. Large paddy fields, open grounds, and dominating isolated high grounds dictated the use of night maneuvers to deny the terrorist observation. Sri Lanka experiences 2 main seasons, namely monsoon with torrential rains and dry season. Intermonsoonal rains of a common occurrence in this season as well. The dry season favors conduct of military operations. Waterways and irrigation systems turns into key obstacles with vast areas being inundated during monsoons. The one who determinedly overcomes unfavorable weather conditions will gain the tactical edge, ensuring the best impact at the strategic level. The Eastern Theatre of Operation was considered peculiar in nature with regard to the LTT due to its modus operandi and disposition compared with the other theatres of operations. The LTT disposition in the eastern region was not isolated in terms of ground factor. The military and the LTT were positioned without demarcation of separate areas of control, but terrorists occupied large bases deep in the jungles, lagoon interiors, and caves as their sanctuaries. This dispersed disposition facilitated the LTT to enhance their logistics, recruitment, training, and other related functions. The LTT maintained approximately 3,000 cadres